I ain't no anti-Semite. I have every Spielberg movie on tape. On this week's episode of Cartoon Buffoons, I'm your host Wyatt, and who is here with me today, as always?
Hello, I'm Morgan. I was the one girl at the Eltingville comic store, but I was hiding for my own safety.
And we are here to talk about some more pilots. Today, hold on, let me get the fucking list, because here we go.
Yeah.
We got Saddle Rash, Maktar, Bagboy with an exclamation point, Private Eye Princess, Eltingville, and the Groovenians. Now, this one is the first one where we're starting to do pilots that also aired on Adult Swim.
Yes, a lot of Adult Swim siblings over here for this one.
Yes. At least two of these were made for Adult Swim, or at least like for an older audience.
Yeah.
And then one of them like aired on Adult Swim, but I don't think it was like, I think it was originally a Cartoon Network pilot. And then the other ones are just all Cartoon Network stuff. So I wanted to include that. I just want to say, like, just because we're not talking about Adult Swim shows, I still want to talk about pilots that are just made by Cartoon Network Studios. So everything is fair game as far as
Pilots
that goes. So that means that, like, yes, basically I just want an excuse for us to eventually get to talk about Korgoth of Barbaria, because that's my favorite pilot, and that's probably everybody's favorite.
Because it costs $1 billion.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Aaron Springer, you know, one of the absolute best board artists, SpongeBob, you know. So
to be honest, we should just rob Elon Musk and make more Korgoth. Like,
yeah. Yeah. Whenever he goes to Mars and we can kill him on Mars, you know. But it's simply just by being on Mars for like 30 minutes, he'll die because of the, you know, there's no atmosphere.
The temperature, it's
cosmic
cold
radiation.
It's fucking cold as hell. Yeah, all that stuff. But yeah, let's start off with, I guess, Saddle Rash?
Yeah, Saddle Rash. This is Lauren Bouchard. I immediately was like, oh yeah, this is so much like
a Lauren Bouchard show. Home movies, Bob's Burgers, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This was a weird one.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is like the one. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, please.
I was gonna say this was the one. Like, I think a lot of these today, I kind of went in, and like after a minute or two, I knew how I felt about the whole thing before I finished it. This one kind of got me near the end. I think it just took some time to get going, much like how he writes all his television shows. So,
yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Where I like, I didn't know. It seemed kind of like boring or kind of like drawn out. And I wasn't into the fact that it was a fucking 22-minute episode. Or, yeah, there's just like too many 22-minute pilots this week, by the way. But I got enough laughs, and there's enough of that, like, I mean, H. John Benjamin, you know, just like riffing and everything. Like, there's enough of that, like, humor that's in, like, home movies and Bob's Burgers and everything.
Yeah, but the issue with that humor in pilots is that kind of humor has to rev up. You got to get into the mode for it as you're watching it. So the first, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes of this, I was kind of like, all right, come on. But no, once we got in, I think the joke that got me in it was when the guy went to the barber, and the barber went, oops, and he goes, oops, and his wound is just spraying blood everywhere. Like, all right, no, this is a good one.
Yeah, and just like... Yeah, there is a lot of that good, like, what's good about that stuff in there. Like you said, like, I think, like, it's fine in home movies and stuff because, one, is shorter episodes, and two, like, only takes, like, a couple minutes for it really to get online, and then you're like, okay, yeah, I'm into this. I know what's up. I know what the joke is. And so even if they're, like, saying mundane things, it's funny on some level. And this one, like, I just felt like immediately it was just like, okay, it's like kind of a lame pitch of what if a cowboy had no arms. Like, that's basically all they had. But they're able to still get some good humor out of it. I just don't know if I'd want to see more episodes of this.
Yeah, no,
like
this was funny enough, but it definitely feels like, yeah, this was it. This was it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, like I could see them making more episodes and everything.
Like
and
about the town and stuff, but like I don't know. Yeah. I think what this is missing is I think this is almost too silly.
Yeah.
Like I think what makes home movies and Bob's Burgers work so well is that the characters are silly, but they're so grounded at the same time. And it really allows the show to feel lived in when you're watching it. This just kind of, it's almost too wacky for the style of cartoon lore, that he does, you know? Like, I'm like, I don't know, man. Yeah, like, I don't think this could have gone much further, but it was fine, you know?
Yeah, I ended up enjoying, I know it's one of those, like, forgotten who gives a shit pilots, you know? But I ended up enjoying it by the end.
Yeah,
I ended up it being, like, funny, and, you know, I like the old man, like, narrator. I don't know. It's like an okay pilot. I wouldn't have wanted to see more, so I think that's like immediate 3. You know, that's just like right down the middle, 3 stars.
I actually think I did. I gave it 3 out of 5. Yeah.
So I think that's where I'll go with that. Next one is Maktar. This one is another mixed bag.
Woof.
Because it's by the fucking long hair and double dumb guy.
Yeah.
So it like looks
fan-fucking-tastic. It looks beautiful. Yeah. But it's I think that's it.
Yeah, because I was watching, first of all, the version I was watching on YouTube, the audio mixing was completely fucked up. I had no idea what the fuck people were saying.
The music and sound effects are too loud. I'm like, oh my god, who uploaded this? Bro, it's him. The creator uploaded. This is his version. I'm like, how the fuck is your sound mixing fucked up on the version you uploaded? Come on, bro. What the fuck? I like Kathy said, am I supposed to understand what they're saying? I guess, because you just hear the music go, and there's music the whole time too.
Yeah. This one is a 7-minute, like is the normal size pilot, but it also takes way too fucking long to
it felt so long,
establish like what it's doing or what it's going for. Because the entire time I was like, is this guy Maktar? Like, who is Maktar? Is it this guy? And then eventually we learn it's like, oh yeah, it's basically like an Invader Zim.
Yeah, I wrote literally in my notes, we have Invader Zim at home.
Yeah, and this is like a year or two after. This is 2002, so this is like a couple years
like a year. But also, like this is like guys, it cannot be underestimated that there is a large alien that is sending a unqualified shitty alien that's small to Earth, and he's accosted by kids. Literally, the Invader Zim plot. Like
yeah, and I don't know. There's some like mildly funny stuff, and it like looks cool. I'll say that the character animation and designs look cool, but I'm not like super big on the like digital look of it. You know, obviously long hair and double dome looked fucking beautiful because it was on cells and everything.
But
the backgrounds are awful. Like there's really shitty like bowling alley CGI.
I kind of like that. I kind of like how Alien. Okay. I'm kind of into.
There's another pilot on here that is also, I would describe as bowling alley CGI, but we'll get to that later.
But yeah, I don't know. I think Gavrilo is his name. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's like so talented, and I think his character design and his shape language and even the animation, even if it's digital like this, I think looks so good. I just wish he was funnier. I just wish the cartoons he made were funnier. But also, I think when you're this talented of an artist, who gives a fuck? Like, sickos like us are going to go, this rules, but like, it'll never be picked up. It just will never be picked up.
Because that's kind of like, also a problem I had with Long Hair and Double Dome, where I'm like, okay, this is funny, but it's not like funny enough that I'm wanted, like I needed it to be like a show or whatever. And like same thing with this, like this is like in the realm of, well, I don't know, it's not even mildly funny, it's just like, okay, there's a couple jokes, otherwise like it's just kind of a snooze, you know. It's just kind of like
it was
replacement
nothing.
Level, just whatever. Sorry dude, but I don't know, I guess 2. Like, that seems like a little bit too mean.
But I gave him 2, but says only because he's a really good character designer. That's it. Like, I'd get a tattoo of some of these alien guys on me, you know? But I'm not going to watch this cartoon ever again.
It's cool designs.
Speaking of 2, what's next? Wait, no, next is not 2.
Didn't we do... Okay, so this is a... Do we do Bagboy next? Because that's, like, the next one that I put on the list.
I think, I guess no. We should do, not to be mean, I think we should wait for, do Eltingville and Bagboy last.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Not giving away how I feel about those, but we're going to just do those last.
Okay. So, Private Eye Princess. This is probably my favorite one.
Oh wow, Wyatt, that's crazy. We are different single in this one, dude. So I wanted to like this because the last pilot we got from this woman, I liked a lot. Yeah, Nikki was really good. I like Nikki a lot. However, I think Private Eye Princess didn't work for me because I think there's too many jokes.
Yeah. It's also 22 minutes.
Yeah, it's 22 minutes. And it just doesn't stop. And it just keeps jokes going so constantly. I don't have time to find anything funny.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, I'm being bombarded with jokes at a pace that's kicking my ass.
I'm just really glad Debbie Solomon is coming here with the annoying girl.
Yeah, I do respect
Jewish
that.
girl representation, you know. Just really appreciate that. The art style I really like. Like, I don't know why. It's very nostalgic to me or whatever. I mean, I learned that she also did the animated parts of Lizzie McGuire. And that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think we talked about when we did Nikki. Like, there's a Lizzie McGuire vibe to it, but there's also like a book from that era vibe to it. Like, a lot of books look like this that like we were a really big fan of in Nikki, and I still like it here. I definitely still like it here.
Yeah, I would say that it's the plot or the structure of it makes no sense. Like, I don't understand what's happening or why at any given moment.
And it doesn't give you time to figure it out either.
Yeah.
It does not give you any time as a human being to figure out what the fuck is happening. Like, it just keeps kicking your ass.
But for me, like, just the constant assault of, like, stupid humor, I liked a lot. And I just, like, and I like the style and everything. And I found, like, like Handy Milo is just, like, a very funny voice actress.
Fantastic voice actress. Her voice is the funniest part of this thing to me a lot of times.
Yeah. So it's her just doing, like, again, like an annoying girl voice. It's just good. And then, like, the little assistant lady, the little French lady, Fifi Gigi, I'm like, oh, man, this character is so adorable.
Yeah.
So it's just like, yeah, there's a lot about it that I found very charming and enjoyable. But I can totally understand somebody watching it being like, this is obnoxious as fuck. So that's... I do not blame you for thinking this.
Like, I don't think I hate this. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's like the perfect storm of too long and too much. Like, I think around 7 minutes, I think my brain was fried. I was like, all right, guys, I need us to take a step back. I'm like, there's a lot happening constantly. Can we chill out?
Yeah. Definitely. Like, the I couldn't see this really as a show, especially, like, I would not want to watch 22-minute episodes.
No, not at all.
Of this. I would rather, like, if it was like a 7-minute pilot and they just, like, got all the best jokes together and, you know, cut it into 7 minutes, I think it would be a lot better. And I already really liked it. So I probably... I'm just thinking, like, what to... Because I wouldn't give it, like, a 5 as easily as I would Nikki, because I feel like that one, again, is just, like, short and
stronger.
simple.
It was way stronger, too, yeah.
And it also feels more experimental in, like, animation and style and everything, whereas, like, this feels very, like... It feels like on model way more so than Nikki did. I think because of the digital animation and everything like that. So
I also think I think that like Nikki lends itself to the style of what Debbie Solomon does. Because I think Nikki being about her imagination running wild makes the fast pace, what the fuck is going on-ness of it work better. Yeah. Because we're living through her sight of her world, you know?
Yeah, and she also has a straight man.
Yeah, this show need a straight man like a motherfucker. Oh my god.
Yeah, because the Fifi Gigi, the little French lady, is not a straight man. She's just like another funny, like, accessory to the Private Eye Princess main character. And she's mostly just sort of like acting and being, I don't know. It's just like I did find it all very funny, but you mentioning like how overwhelming you find it, I was like, yeah, I can definitely see that. So I think I'll compromise and I'll put it at 4 because it is very enjoyable for me, but I understand.
Yeah, I gave it a 2.
Yeah. So there we go. Well, like it averages out to 3.
That sounds that seems fair to me. Yes.
Yeah. What is the fucking next
one? Groovenians.
Yeah, let's do the Groovenians. Dude, this one.
I think if you look up a picture of not quite bad but not quite good in the dictionary, you'd see a picture of this fucking pilot.
This is like the dark truth of doing this pilot thing. Is you get so many pilots that are just okay, just like, and then you watch them, and you're like, what is the show? Like, what is the...
Yeah, what you guys didn't have more. You knew this wasn't going to get picked up. Like, you knew it. Like, come on, be honest.
And it's like, I get the desire to be like, all right, let's use this new technology. Let's use this CGI, because this is still very early in CGI animation, you know, like, we had fucking Beast Wars. We had, you know, the new adventures of Johnny Quest and whatever. Jimmy Neutron hadn't come out yet.
Reboot, you know.
Yeah. And then they're like, all right, let's take a swing at it. And it's like better than, you know, like But Ugly Martians or something like that, you know.
Okay, all right, let's...
Okay, are you going to try to explain why But Ugly Martians is good looking? No.
I think Blood Ugly Martians animates and looks better than this, Wyatt. My hot take. I think it does, dude. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's like go ahead.
My only question against that is that I think Groovenians looks so much cheaper, but I think it is for style reasons, not for like, we don't know how to animate or do whatever. I think they are like cutting frames and doing more like rigid, shitty animation
for the style. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree, but I don't know, man. Blood Ugly Martians was like, that's basically a tokusatsu, dude. That show rules. This bit can't stay. I'm joking. It's bad. This bit is dog shit. But no, I think, man, there's nothing to say about this fucking thing. RuPaul's in it. That's it.
Yeah.
RuPaul's in it. It's about, I guess, what this show is about is these two artists that live on a planet that's boring, and they get told about Groovenian, which is a planet for artists to art and dance and make music and be creative. And they go there, and they dance, and they be creative, and then it turns out, no, capitalism is here, and they want them to be boring and pay money to them in order to do their art, and they instead say no, and they dance.
Which is, like, not a bad... I don't know, like, it is very lame, right? Like, I think that's my biggest problem with the pilot, which I know is, like, an unfair criticism because it doesn't mean anything, but just trust me, it's fucking lame. Like, that's my biggest problem. You know, it begins with them, like, dressed up as flowers, dancing around, and, like, squirting paint on each other. And then the parents are like disappointed and everything. And it's supposed to be like, okay, the people making the show, they're the art school kids that want to go out and create real art. And their parents don't understand. And they get the chance, you know, they're making a show on Cartoon Network, but their, you know, art is getting co-opted by a big corporation. All this stuff, like, it makes sense. I don't think it's like saying anything important about it, and it's also like so fucking literal about.
It's way too fucking literal, dude. It's so literal, dude.
About its message, it just doesn't like hit, you know.
It
like
just happens. It just happens. It's like nothing. Like, to be honest, I feel like we don't have the brain issues to talk about this in depth. Like, this is like something that I think Mr. Enter would talk about for an hour, but it's not even that deep. Like it's literally not. Also, wait, was that the first dig at Mr. Enter we've ever done on this fucking show?
Possibly. There's no way we haven't. There's no way I have not brought him up at some point, but I can't remember anything specifically, so it could possibly be.
But yeah, like this is like a nothing cartoon that like Mr. Enter or Doug Walker would go, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. But it's not. It's just nothing. It's literally nothing.
It's the kind of cartoon that a Mr. Enter would watch, like a pilot that he would watch and be like, there's so many good ideas in it, but it just needs to be executed better. And then he'd write an entire fucking 50 episode fake series about a show that's like kind of like the Groovenians, but you know,
and it's weird and uncomfortable and has his thinly veiled fetishes in it. And, guys, sorry if you're a Mr. Enter shooter. We fucking hate the guy. Anyway,
get him out of here. But yeah, Groovenians sucks.
2.
Maybe not sucks. It's I don't know. It's just like a 2. It's just like whatever. It was just. Again, way too fucking long. Why are these all 22-minute long? Except for, okay, I say that I'm hypocritical because one of the ones that's 22-minute long, I'm like...
I wish it was longer. I wish it was an hour. But yeah, this was a pilot. Legally, this is a pilot. You can legally watch it online, but it's a pilot that was made and created. So.
Yeah. I don't know. Just kind of a dud and doesn't inspire. I'd like to look at comment sections on some of these pilots and see how people feel. First of all, just a spoiler real quick. Groovenians 32,000 views. Welcome to Eltingville, 173,000 views. So like way more people are going to revisit that pilot than they are fucking the Groovenians. Like going through it, you just see people be like, yeah, I could see this like being a show. Like you just see a lot of like lukewarm. Like I kind of remember this.
Dude, you know what makes a network want to sign your show? People going, yeah, I guess it could. Like that's definitely what people want to watch more.
Yeah. All right, let's stop talking about this bullshit. The 2 stars.
2 stars. Get out of here, Groovenians, bitch. It's time for peak.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's time for small peak. Bagboy, dude. Oh,
this was a huge surprise because
first we couldn't fucking find it. We couldn't find it.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Is that I was looking for it. I was like, what the fuck is Bagboy? Because I just listed all of this, like months ago. Like I just found a list of things made by Cartoon Network Studios, and like made a list of it. When I was first searching Bagboy, I was just getting a fake pilot made by Steve Brule on Adult Swim, and I was like, there's no way this is what it is.
I do love Steve Brule, so I did just watch that.
Yeah. And then I eventually was like, okay, let me go find that list again that I referenced to get the name Bagboy. And then I saw the creator's name, so I searched him on YouTube, found his YouTube channel where he's uploading these like shorts and whatever things that he's done that have like 60 views, it's like very small amount of views, and included on there was like Bagboy, and I checked it out. We both checked it out. I think it's pretty good.
This is
like a pretty good pilot.
Dude, I'm like kind of pissed no one talks about this. This is like a really solid pilot. Basically, the premise is that there's a superhero named Bagboy who fights crime. He fights monsters and helps people and stuff like that. But he's also part-time, like, and his secret identity is a kid that works at a grocery store as a bag boy. Yeah. That's it. That's literally it. And it seems simple and silly, and it is, and it's super funny. Like, I don't know. It's probably my favorite parody of Green Lantern I've ever seen.
Because, I was by the way, it's definitely Green Lantern.
Yes, because bag boys exist throughout the universe. They pick a bunch of bag boys, and instead of a power ring, they get like the price gun. It's so good. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, it feels like And that I know maybe I'm being too dismissive of other cartoons, but I feel like any other thing they just sort of like stop and start at like, oh, it's Spider-Man or Superman or Batman, whatever. Going for Green Lantern is like a little bit deeper than
in 2002. Absolutely, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so like just in the getting to see like the funny alien designs and everything. I don't know. There's just like a lot to it. I really like the art style. Like I think that has like a really cool.
Very much like almost like Clerk. Like it felt like it could be a cousin of Eltingville. Funny enough, and Clerk.
Yeah.
While looking at it,
it has that like bold outline, styles and everything. Like I don't know. And then like just the conflict was stupid, but in like a funny way. I don't know. It was just like a really solid pilot that I could have easily seen more episodes of. So I'm like shocked that it had like, so little cachet.
You would think this would get talked about more. Also, I do think like from like a stupid superhero meta subplot level, his power set is very funny. Having him have a gun, like he can up the price or lower the price, and he can control the size of it and stuff like that. Fantastic, very fun power set.
Yeah,
I also think the fact that go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go first.
No. Well, that it's funny that he is supposed to be a superhero, and it's just a coincidence that it's the same title as a low paying job.
Yeah.
But his superhero powers happen to exactly coincide with like
what
that
his job is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think his design is fantastic. Cause like he even looks like a Hal Jordan parody. And it's such a fun way to do it. Just like, just green shirt, apron, and he has a little mask. Like, cause Hal Jordan has such a generic design in himself that they're like, oh yeah, we could definitely just do this as a parody of like a dude that works in a supermarket. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to like scream from the rooftops about this one.
Yeah.
Cause like I've never heard of it, and it's so fucking good.
Yeah, when I was looking it up on Google or on YouTube at first, I saw the Steve Brule thing, but I saw like some screenshots of this. I think it was like maybe not a lost pilot, but I don't think that there was any good upload of it until very recently is when John Metho, the creator, uploaded it. Literally, at the time of recording this 13 days ago, he uploaded it. So, like, if you want to timestamp this recording, go and see when the Bagboy pilot is uploaded.
Yeah, I definitely would, like... Also, like, you guys should just watch it. It's really... Like, I might just post it on Blue Sky and shit, because, like, it's such a fun little pilot. And I don't know, I think superhero comedy has, like, a really good... like chance out there, like the ones that we've gotten have sucked, like whatever the fuck Teen Titans is supposed to be, but like this one did a really good job of it because it really balanced it. Like you know what, this could have been an OKKO.
I mean, I was gonna even say that like the dot eyes and the like kind of the laid back tone and everything remind me a lot of AJ's Infinite Summer, who, Toby Jones.
Yeah, definitely see that.
So, like, I don't know. It, like, remind me that I don't know if Toby actually ever watched this because
we should just send it to him.
Like a very, ask him. But, it kind of reminds me of that. So.
Yeah. Also, I can see this guy being a card that, like, KO has and OKKO. Yeah. Like, just like, oh, hey, guys, I got a Bagboy.
Yeah.
Like,
if we got season 4 and they did more like Cartoon Network crossovers, they should have done all the failed pilots.
Yeah.
And then, so we could get some crossovers with We could get Maktar and like other ones that we actually care about. But all right, I'll give this a 4. I think
I also give this a 4.
A pretty good pilot, but
it's time for peak now. It's time for
this.
peak.
This is basically the most well-known one out of these, and also kind of just the best one.
Yeah, the other ones were like a amuse-bouche or a hors d'oeuvre, if you will, before we got to this one. Like I was literally like, oh my god. When you sent me the list, I'm like, oh my god, it's here. It's here.
It's the Welcome to Eltingville. Oh, yeah. So, first of all, I believe, I don't know if anybody, or how well-known Evan Dorkin is, the comic creator. But,
award-winning.
Yes, this is based on, one of his comics. And it's, he himself is, a nerdy guy, but he's, essentially extremely critical of this type of nerd, this type of nerd culture. And, the Eltingville comics are such a, searing indictment of, this type of guy, that, this show carries so much of that energy. I would say that this is the most toxic friend group I've ever fucking seen in, a cartoon. I really cannot think of any cartoon. Somebody in the comments was like, I think the South Park boys get along better than the Eltingville.
That's kind of true. But also, this is, the most toxic friend group, and also the realest fucking friend group of nerds I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, yeah, dude. As a teenage white guy, grew up with this, a similar group of nerds and, constantly getting into arguments over, dumb bullshit. It's so fucking real. Also, the art style is fantastic. It's probably one of my favorite art styles for any pilot that we've gotten, because it maintains that comic book, indie comic style in its animation. Another reason why it's probably way too expensive for Adult Swim to have made more episodes. But it looks like that, a lot of those cartoons around the time, Clerks, Mission Hill, and stuff like that. So,
okay, so for those that don't know, Eltonville is about literally a group of nerds who are in a club, air quotes, where they hang out and do nerdy shit. They play D&D, they watch horror movies, they harass people. They're all the devil. Different degrees. There's different levels to being the devil. They're all the devil.
Yeah.
They're I want to say they're a caricature of nerds, but also if you've ever talked about Star Wars on the internet, it's just this. It's literally just these people.
That's the fucking thing. I feel in 2002, this would have been oh, haha, this is an exaggeration, but this is my friend group or whatever. Now, looking at it, you're this might be too nice. About these people.
This might be an underhand lob of anything.
Yeah, or just, I don't know. I don't want to say too nice necessarily, but it's just so ridiculous how well this is aged.
Yeah, it's disheartening almost. It's deeply disheartening how well this is aged. These guys are fucking evil and it's I can't even begin to express that. Not only is this show super funny, and looks fantastic, and is a good commentary, it's also such a great litmus test if people around you are evil or not. Because I've seen comments, people go like this, I've seen the big nerd off they have. People go, haha, this is me and my friends. This is back when nerd culture used to be cool. No, it's not. These two people are horrifyingly evil individuals. What are you talking about? The parody doesn't even work anymore. It doesn't even work anymore. But it's still so funny that I'm whatever, fine. Do you have a favorite Eltingville boy? Yes.
I don't know, because there's the two alpha nerds are Bill and Josh.
And Josh,
so
yes.
Bill is the
Mussolini and Hitler, if you would, of this group.
Yeah. Josh is the fat guy with the ponytail and everything like that, and they are both just raging dickheads, and then the other two are sort of more just weird or creepy or whatever. They're just kind of in the background being I don't know about this. The most real part of it is them getting into a big fight and then like the next day they're like out of convenience. They're like, whatever, we got over it, and we're just like hanging out again.
That's so fun. Yeah, like it just can't last. Like them hating each other can't last. I also think the fact that the comic book nerd and the Star Wars nerd are the two most evil, and I'm like, yeah, that's just true. Yeah.
But I think I would put like Pete, the like guy with the backwards cap. Probably my favorite just because of the New York accent.
Dude, he's so... Listen, when they're playing D&D like that, it's like, thou has played too far with me. My sword will smiteth thee, yo. And I'm like, fuck, this is so fucking funny. I do want to say, shout out as a tabletop RPG nerd, as a D&D nerd, all that shit. Shout out Jerry for being the most normal of all his friends. He's not great, the guys. He's not great. But if any of them won't, buy an AR-15 in the future, it's probably him. Like,
yeah, it's like that's the thing is that I think those two guys, the other two, are more likely to get out of it with their lives intact, whereas I think Bill and Josh are like on a dark path, for the rest of their life, because they're just fundamentally unhappy people that bring everything down with them and try to make like the entire world revolve around them. And like there's so much, like, this is not, I wouldn't say like a subtle cartoon, like it is pretty direct with it, insulting it, but there's some subtle moments of like character insight that happen, like when they're giving the roundtable presentation of all the nerd crap that they've gotten, and everybody gets hung up on like the tape.
Yeah,
and then Bill gets of like all the sexy sci-fi and whatever ladies, and then Bill gets like frustrated because he didn't get a turn yet. It's just like a very quick thing, but I'm like, God damn, I have felt that before. Like when I was a teenager or whatever. Like, why do you think I make podcasts? It's because of it. Like, I want attention. Like, that's the, that's not the only reason, but like it was just like a very relatable, like dark moment, like being like, oh man, I don't like that. Like, I don't like seeing this like reflection of all my worst moments like back at me. But I also do think it's very funny because of that. I would say I would never have like a trivia off with any friend just because
it's lame. Like, I remember vividly, like, when it was happening, Kathy said, how much of this did you know? And I went, that's not a good point to make. I don't want to know any of it. These guys are lame.
Yeah. There's a couple where I was like, oh, like when they mentioned Digimon, I was like, though that's only niche in the context of this being a show from 2002. I feel like now, if somebody was like, who does Ikakumon evolve from? Like, Gomamon, a good amount of nerds would be like, Gomamon, come on.
But how do you feel about what's the first monster Ultraman fought? I was like, oh, fuck off. Yeah. Yeah, there was like a lot. I'm like, oh man, I'm like, God, I'm so glad I took like the good route in my life. I could have easily been the devil, but I didn't. I think also me being black and a woman helped a lot because if I met Josh in real life, he would hit me with the most like super turbo combo ultra slur that would make me have to leave his spot. He would hit me with it. Also, side note, you did it in the beginning. Josh going, you're all a bunch of anti-Semites. Killed me.
Yeah. Because, like, I don't know. I just love that. A lot of like Jewish coded and just straight up Jewish characters in these pilots, like that was the case in like Private Eye Princess as well. And in Groovenians with the like rock star kid that comes down and his Jewish grandma comes out. I appreciate that.
I will say another joke from this I haven't mentioned is when they talk to the kid that like is like, oh guys, it's me, and he gets ran over by a motorcycle, and they rush over to him not to check on him, but to look at all his Magic the Gathering cards to see that they don't have any of them. They go, oh shit, thanks a lot, loser, and they fucking kick him while he's down and he's bleeding out. I'm like, wow, these guys are Fucking also the like, what do you mean Pokemon's not cool? Pikachu will kill you. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, that was the one thing. Like, I will say that, obviously, like 2002 was before my time, but if there's one thing to criticize this, is that it is kind of unrealistic to have a like comic book shop in New York and have like one or two black people in there.
That's
I know
true.
that it's like it's like,
I will say it is Staten Island.
White.
It is Staten
Yes. Okay, yeah. It's
Like,
just like from my experience, it just doesn't seem, like too realistic. I know people like to treat nerd shit as a white guy thing.
No, but like, no,
It's
yeah, like
not.
if this was like in BX or like somewhere else, I would agree. I still kind of agree about it, but this Staten, by the way, them being from Staten Island is maybe the most real thing about this, because Staten Island does something to everyone there that they become the worst of the subculture they belong to. Sorry, anyone from Staten Island. I got to get it out there. So, but them being like in Staten Island, there being no black people, I could kind of let it go because all the black people probably going to like a cooler comic book shop.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. I'm sure that the whole joke is that, it's like nobody goes here or whatever. Only like a small section of like the same people keep going there. I like the comic book shop. It's closed down now, but in my town was like literally right next to the prison. And it's a gigantic, like, it's like the biggest prison in America or like the oldest prison in America or whatever. It's like 7 blocks huge prison just like stretching across the middle of the city. Where I live, and like right next to, like on the corner of one street, right next to the entrance to the prison was the like cards and comic shop. Played a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh there. Good times, Dragon Ruler format. Peace out. But that's what I was saying, is that it's like there being no women though, that feels 100% real as far as 2002 goes. Even though, again, like I'm sure that there were like nerd women, but like these
you don't want to go.
You don't want to go to those. Like,
no.
If a woman showed up, like that's the thing. Like I feel like there may be some plausible deniability about this pilot, in that people think that it's like, oh, haha, these guys are funny. They're just like me. And can relate to them in that level, whereas like I'm looking at it and being like, oh my god, this is like all the darkest parts of me.
They kicked the child in the middle of the street. Wyatt, they kicked the child in the middle of the street. I feel like if you see this and you go, sick, this is us. I don't know, guys. Like, you gotta get some
that's
help.
more of a on that person. Like, that's what I'm saying, is that I think, it could be there, but I don't see it. Like, I see this as like clearly like these are like shitty broken people, and their like lives are just going to go downhill from here. But there's like some elements of like having like the Aquabats do like a ska theme song
really
and things
good.
like that. It's just like, it makes it seem like, oh yeah, isn't this cool? There's like some sort of like nostalgic sort of pining for this kind of life, even though every time I see a bit of it, I'm like, I don't want to go back. Like, I never want to become this ever again.
To be honest, I feel as though if you could like sit down with James Gunn, he would make this show now. He would like use his power to make this show now, and I think there's like a good chance of it, and it might be needed. I don't know. I definitely think there's some people out there who are evil Star Wars fans who probably just need to be sat down and shown like, hey, this is a funny cartoon.
Yeah,
you do act like this.
I mean, I know we talked about Star Wars before, but like, what is it about Star Wars that has like driven people insane?
Oh,
like,
man, do you want me to say like the real reason, or do you want me to be inflammatory and a dickhead?
No, I want you to say the real, because I want to explore this, because I have no idea what the fuck, like, why
I think
Star Wars is the thing that has driven people insane.
I'll give you a little bit column A, a little bit column B.
Okay.
I think Star Wars is inherently not very good. And I think now listen, I'm just being flipped right here.
I agree with that. Even though I like Star Wars movies, I think you are right in saying that. So.
Yeah, and I think what happens is that if you come when something you like or grew up with isn't very good, and not like in a deniable kind of way, like in a very obvious kind of way, you become super defensive of it.
Yeah.
And you go, well, I was bullied for liking this, which also isn't really true for Star Wars anymore, if we're being honest, but that's beside the point. And I think what's happening is that it's created this weird feedback of negativity where men online want to constantly, like, defend Star Wars, right? But anytime new Star Wars comes out and it's of quality of old Star Wars, they want to be critical dickheads and hate it.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that they're hating the thing that they also like. And when you point that out to them, their brain starts getting angry and angry like a fucking bonobo who's in a death rage. Like, and they just keep going, and it keeps feedbacking over and over again. Like, when a new Star Wars comes out like this is so lame, this has blink, this doesn't explain anything, there's too much. I'm like, that's literally Star Wars, my guy. This is literally Star Wars. And they also don't like that matter. Star Wars works the best when you make it your own thing. But also, making something your own thing is embarrassing to these people, you know? Yeah. Having OCs is embarrassing, fan fiction's embarrassing, fan art's embarrassing unless it's badass. So, like, they don't like the people want to make Star Wars its own thing when it's literally the best part of Star Wars. The best part of Star Wars is the universe is so vast you can make your own thing out of it. And they hate that. They just want the same thing that they had as a child that wasn't very good, but it gave them the nice little dopamine from being 8.
This, I feel similarly about Harry Potter.
Yes, like, yes. I think Harry Potter's worse because, like, there's literally nothing interesting about Harry Potter. But, like, yeah.
Sure. But, like, just the idea that it's like, oh, here's this series that is, like, children's books. But because people read them and connected with them so hard, like, in their youth, they are very attached to them, but they're also very defensive of them. So they either bend over backwards to defend the horrific, ghoulish witch that is J.K. Rowling and everything that she says and does, or they go full cognitive dissonance mode and are just like, no, just because I love this and I have the fucking Deathly Hallows tattoo and blah, 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 doesn't mean that I support J.K. Rowling. Just because I'm buying the Hogwarts Legacy and I'm going to watch the HBO show, it doesn't mean that I support her. And then she's on Twitter being like,
the devil, like literally the devil.
I think because they put lead in the water in the fucking 50s or whatever, I am now transphobic. Like, that is what's...
With her black mold in her fucking home. Like, no, but like, that's the thing. Like, I think it also comes down to, like, the biggest issue with Eltingville, all the characters in it, right? All the main 4 characters and Harry Potter fans and Star Wars fans is that these people do not know how to define themselves without using what someone else made.
Yeah.
And I say this as a fan of vampire stuff, but my favorite thing about vampire stuff is making my own version of it, you know? It's this long, steady thing. But listen, if I ask you to tell me about yourself, and your first thought process to go, here's my Hogwarts house, or I'm a Marvel guy, not a DC guy, go see a fucking therapist.
Yeah, if you're so boring that your personality can fit into 4 different types of personality, and that's it, then you have other problems, you know, than like, oh, being a nerd and I'm, you know, people are discriminating against nerds or whatever. Like, yeah, it would be like me being like, oh, my favorite type of Pokemon are ground Pokemon or whatever.
And like, look,
people
I love saying my favorite type of Pokemon is dark types of Pokemon. But, like, that's, like, you can have this stuff, but when you start forming all of your like, when your qualities aren't that you're kind, or you're a good cook, or that, like, you look out for people around you. When those aren't your qualities are media franchise, you really got to start getting it together. And I know me and Wyatt are talking on a fucking podcast about cartoons. We are aware of this, but we are more than that, you know?
I think that nerd interests should be a window into the soul, not in the way of like, this is my only image of this person, but you know about the person and then learning about what they like informs and like reinforces that aspect of that person.
Exactly. Like I love Superman for very specific reasons of what he represents to me, like to be a better person, and I also know that like who you need to be for people isn't exactly who you are. All that kind of stuff. That's a cool, interesting thing. I'm like, motherfucker, why are you like Superman? He's powerful. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Like,
yeah. It's the same thing with like Dragon Ball, where it's like, oh, we like Dragon Ball because it's badass, and I want Goku to get more forms and to Zenkai and blah blah blah, and his power level needs to be and well, like all the power scaling nonsense. I'm like, that's just not why I care about Dragon Ball. I love it because, like, first of all, the comic is just so well drawn.
Yes,
fights are so excellent. The comedy is golden. You know, like all this stuff. It's just like an expertly made comic because Akira Toriyama was a genius.
Yeah,
you know, and like even at its worst, even like literally, I have long considered the Boo arc to be like the worst part of the whole manga, but like I still have read it multiple times and been like, yeah, this is like a really good moment. To me, like the best moments aren't there. It's not necessarily like, oh, I only like it when it's comedy, or I only like it. I don't like Dragon Ball Z with the fighting. No, my favorite arc is the Saiyan arc, which is the first Z arc, you know, so I like all of it.
Yeah.
You know, I like it for what, and I like Goku as a character because there is just something so like pure and likable about somebody who, like, I don't know, like he is not just like a dude that's like battle hungry and wants to fight or whatever. Like there's more to his character. He has like this innocent protector
that's like
sort
dangerous
of nature to him, and this idea that like somebody who is so kind and so free spirited and fun loving could flip a switch on a dime and become like a fierce defender. Like, you know, like there's something really cool about that dichotomy that he doesn't need to be like grim and gritty 100% of the time.
Like, I think, like, you put up, like, when you said, like, there's parts you dislike, but you don't hate it. I think that's, like, the other thing. I think the reason why the Eltingville guys are so angry and nerds are so angry and what they represent is that when you do form your personality over only of these media things and not what the thing means to you or, like, what it shapes you as a person, right? You get to the point where, you don't feel real emotion for it because it's weakness, you know? Like a lot of like this, I don't want to cry at blank thing. I don't want the emotional parts. I just want the cool fights. And what that happens is that it makes it so you can only express the emotion of anger. It makes it so like the only emotion you can express for this media that you enjoy is anger. Because you can't feel emotional for it. You can't cry at it. You can't do other stuff. All you can feel is angry that it sucks. And I'm like, that's like so unhealtly. A perfect example is this. It's also the Thief of Joy. I was literally looking at Flash moments because I was thinking about the Flash comic. And there's a moment, like it's from a TV show actually, and it's a moment where Barry Allen tries to get this guy acquitted because he's in jail and he didn't do the crime, right? Barry can't do it. So he's like, okay, fuck this. He super speeds into his cell, pulls him out the cell, and drops him off at a Buddhist monastery where he wanted to go, right? Yeah. Because the guy talked about it. And that's it. As someone in the comments said the craziest things to me. They says, another example of the Flash using speed that he never shows again in a fight. I'm like, you saw this emotional moment where he helped a poor man who was on death row. And your thought process is this, how does this power scale? This makes no sense. I'm like, dude, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Get help.
This is ridiculous. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Because, like, everything needs an explanation in the universe. Everything needs to, like, fit some logical fucking thing. Because, like, all the nerd culture is built around putting things into boxes and analyzing things and rationalizing things. So the second that a thing is just made because it makes the story better or more interesting, like the lady in fucking The Last Jedi using the hyperspeed to destroy a Star Destroyer, and people are like, that doesn't make any fucking physical sense. And it's like, yeah, no shit, it's Star Wars.
Dude, hyperspace isn't
it's just
real.
A cool moment where a character does like a last stand and sacrifice themselves. And it's cool as fuck. So I just don't know, like, that's the point of it, is it's supposed to be that. It would be like bitching at, like, oh, after Piccolo dies in the Saiyan arc, Gohan, you know, he uses the Masenko against Nappa. Why did he think that would work? He has only 2,400 battle power, whereas Nappa has 5,000 or whatever.
Dude, it's so crazy to me that nerds hate real science and love fake science. Like, they'll go like this. I don't care what scientists said about trans people. They're not real because I love facts and logic. Anyway, here's why the Speed Force is cool and makes sense. And I don't like the way this comic uses it. Yeah. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. Oh, my God.
whole different conversation, maybe preaching to the choir, but that whole, like, it's unscientific that trans people exist is the dumbest fucking shit.
It's so fucking
in the
stupid.
world, because it's just, you literally Google could solve all of your problems, buddy, and you would learn. There's so many research papers like that are out there that are like, this actually is like a real thing that exists.
Dude, how do you have a fan base that wants to be correct but refuses to look up anything? It's crazy. Like
they will. It's like the whole conspiracy minded thing where it's like they literally believe anything at all that they're told, except for reality. Because, like, if they confronted reality and, like, looked it up one time, they would learn, like, oh, everything is wrong. Like, everything that I just looked up is wrong. You know? So, I don't know. This conversation evolved.
We hate nerds. We hate nerds. But anyway, Eltingville. Watch the Welcome to Eltingville. 5 out of 5. Fantastic pilot. Yeah, we bitched about a lot. Also, great comic. Might reread the comic, actually. It's been a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I have not read it all. I remember, like, back, like, 10 years ago. Whenever, like, Pan Pizza made the video where he talked about, like, lost cartoon pilots or whatever, and this was on here.
Upside, it goes into them being adults, Wyatt, so you get to see the whole...
Yes. So you actually do get to see... them becoming pathetic people. Because here's the thing, like, my just real quick personal life, my uncle who lives in Buffalo, I visit all the time, he's super cool, but he is like a huge D&D nerd, and he is like 56 or whatever, you know, so like he was playing D&D in like the 70s and 80s, you know, and you go down to the basement, you know, and that's where his office is, and it's all lined with like Warhammer miniatures and, you know, Looney Tunes memorabilia and D&D books that go from like the 80s to now. Like, it's just it's like this kind of like nerd den, but like he is like such a nice guy. First of all, he's married, you know, and has been married for a long time. He's like very respectful of women. He's like, he always like this summer he was talking to me about like the election and everything, you know, and it was like a very pleasant conversation where we agreed on a lot, you know. It wasn't like, oh, he's an old like conservative nerd or whatever. He's like a smart guy, a kind-hearted guy. He's down to talk to me about Game of Thrones or whatever, like. And, you know, we'll often talk to each other about, like, our own fantasy worlds, you know, that we, like, write and come up with, you know, because he's been doing a campaign in his own world for, like, 20 years. So he has, like, a lot of world building and lore and everything, like, written about that. And a lot of it, he's like, oh, yeah, some of this I've had written for, like, decades before my players ever experienced it. You know, and I'm like, wow, that is so cool. That's such good dedication. That's like as valid of an expression of like creativity as any fucking book.
No, I agree. Yeah, I think
anybody's ever written.
Yeah, I think like that's why I loved running games so much, is because like I write books and stuff on the side, but I do like to like, you know, get the stuff out that way. And I don't know, I think between like people like your uncle and like also like my mom, hearing that like there were people who had these interests and didn't become monsters is so refreshing. Like my mom, like I think we talked about it before. My mom loved Doctor Who growing up. She loved Star Trek growing up. Well, she loved Star Trek less. My mom, and the thing is though, my mom didn't know these were nerdy things because my mom is like, she's 60 now and she's black. So like she wasn't really allowed to have nerdy interests, you know? Like these were just interests that she had. And black people, like, listen, not to make any Donald Glovers out there feel bad. Black people really understanding a lot of this stuff, actually. Stop making yourself a victim. But like, yeah, like she's like this. I didn't even know these were nerdy interests, you know?
Yeah.
I just thought like Blade was Blade. I just thought, you know, Aquaman's Aquaman. Like, and it's so nice to have these people that are normal, because I think that knee-jerk reaction from a lot of people is to like, I'm a victim. I'm a victim for liking these things. Like, hey, this guy in high school that made fun of you for liking these things, I promise you, he would have made fun of you for anything. I promise you, he would have found something to bully you over. Dickheads in high school will bully you over anything.
Yeah, I would say like the people that I didn't talk to other white kids about Dragon Ball or Yu-Gi-Oh in high school. Like,
yeah,
you know, it's like I played Yu-Gi-Oh with black kids and talked about Dragon Ball and stuff like with them. It was like, it wasn't like like that's why I say, you know, it's like weird. I don't think, but that's also just my perspective of like, I don't think of nerd culture as like such a racial divide as like a lot of people do, but I also think that that's definitely not the case anymore. Like online, it's just like pretty much commonly accepted that like, you know, it is like anybody can be a nerd. There's just some holdouts online that get upset, and like the worst thing that I see all the fucking time, I'm sorry we're going on another tangent about this, but I just had to get this off my chest, is the whole like black people being in a fantasy world ruins my immersion, you know, either because it's not historically accurate, which is really fucking stupid.
Crazy thing to say.
Or the worst one, because it is just them being racist as hell, like mask off racist, is saying that they want to escape reality.
No,
why are you putting
that's the one that makes me laugh. Just like, oh, they gotta be everywhere. I'm like, dog, damn. You were like full Adolf over here, bro. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just like, so whenever there's like a thing that has like a woman or trans person or people of color or anything like that, and they're like, come on, I play video games to escape reality. It's like, which is insane, as we've described, but also like, so those people
can't get their
represented
escape
in this, they are not allowed. They must be trapped in reality, you know, and suffer unjustly by people like you.
Yes.
And as soon as they're given a bone, which you are given thousands of bones per year, when they're given a bone, it's like, this fucking, what is this? I need to take this away from them as well and rob all joy from it and make it a big fucking discussion. And I need to talk about DEI and fucking,
oh my god,
yeah, ESG and all this shit. And it's just like, see, that's like, good art inspires like these kind of conversations, and that's how you know Welcome to Eltingville is like a fantastic
pilot,
because
please watch
it really makes you like think about the darkness of nerd culture. So check that out. Yeah, solid, maybe not solid, some really good pilots, some more mediocre to bad ones. You know, I ended up really enjoying like at least half of them with Private Eye Princess and Bagboy in this.
Yeah, and then the rest were just kind of, none of them were like dog shit. They were all pretty just nothing. Like really good or nothing. That was kind of like the line it went through.
Saddle Rash was like pretty funny sometimes, but again, like, you know, I would just be like, okay, well, I'd rather watch home movies or whatever because it's 11 minutes, and you know, it has like a very like an easy format. It doesn't feel as gimmicky or whatever as, well, excuse me, Saddle Rash. And then some interesting ideas, but unfortunately didn't get. They didn't really hold us up. Yeah. And then this one, it's like, on one hand, I would love to see it become a full show. On the other hand, I am not sure if Evan Dorkin would want to make this a full show now because of all the things that we've been talking about.
I do think though, like he's written enough of it already where like they could just finish out the runs, you know?
Yeah, that's because I looked and saw that this is based on
the first two or three stories.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that will do it for this episode. Wait, hold on. We need to plug ourselves before we.
Oh yeah. Also, guys, when you're listening to this, probably last cartoon Buffoons of the year or the first of the year, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah, I think it will be the first of the year because the last of the year I think is going to be A Crazy Nights.
Yeah. Well. Happy first cartoon Buffoons of the year. Maybe some interesting news happened with some politicians. Just interesting. Mm-hmm. I won't go into detail.
Yeah.
Just interesting. Yeah. Just interesting.
Possibly.
News.
Maybe a different Mario character did something.
Okay. All right. We're getting a little far. We're getting a little close on that one, Wyatt. Okay, guys, you can find me on Tumblr and Blue Sky at Girl Next Vor. I've been posting art. I've been posting about wrestling and vampires. I've also been going back through motherfucking Hunter x Hunter. So,
yeah.
I can't stop thinking about it. I think Merowim is my son. He's perfect.
Yeah.
He's done nothing wrong except for all the murder.
Eating people's brains, that's kind of bad, but hey.
But the art was really cool when he did it. So
yeah.
It looked really cool in the manga when he did it. Wyatt, where can we find you?
Go on over twitter.com/WaspRanger, WAZP Ranger. Also on Blue Sky. Trying not to be on Twitter as much anymore just because it's just really, really annoying seeing dumb. I'm just getting so sick of clicking on something and then seeing
the dumbest shit you've ever seen.
Blue checkmark people saying
is phrenology good?
Yeah. But Blue Sky has its problems. I was bitching about it the other day, on Blue Sky because people on Blue Sky, because nobody will question them, just say insane things.
Yeah.
And because the vibe isn't right, you're not allowed to be what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, because no one can be mean on Blue Sky, which has his own issues, but also I don't have to have Elon Musk forcing me to see his tweet even though I blocked him. Hey guys, I don't have to have the dude from who's a senior walking into your eighth grade class be hey guys, have you seen this thing I made? No, I haven't.
Yeah,
get out of my face.
I don't want to see Grok. Get this the fuck out of here. But yeah, over on Blue Sky, Wasp Ranger as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, great.
Thank you.
Thumbs up. Thank you so much. Give it a like and a comment and all that good stuff, and subscribe. If you're not subscribed to the Patreon, go on over. It's Only Magic as well. You can get the next episode, which will be Teen Titans, right now. Thankfully, Morgan and I are in the past, so we have 4 weeks or whatever before we have to do this. But you can get it right now if you're watching this on
4 weeks
YouTube.
of watching Teen Titans.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah. I love it when my favorite cartoon maker. I love when my favorite cartoon maker makes a cartoon I fucking hate. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Thank you, Derek J. Wyatt.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Wyatt, what else?
And then go on the $3 level, you can get that a week early. You can get a bunch of other stuff, including Wild Cool Robot. Me and my friend Wayne go through and review every single robot in existence. Also, the return and conclusion of Doctors in Discuss will be happening over the course of this month. Cody and I just got together and recorded the rest of the episodes, the 2 6th Doctor episodes and 2 7th Doctor episodes and everything, and we're finishing it off. A lot of good stuff there. And then we're going to be just pivoting away from that and just doing a more generic show, and one that's not as heavily themed as that or Stephen King's was, and we're finally doing it. We're pulling the pin. We're doing Horror Hole, where we talk about where it's just horror movies. Yes, 1 million podcasts have done this. And other ones have done we're doing this horror movie. We're doing all the Chucky movies. They're doing all the... No. Anything goes. We're just... Whatever. Who fucking cares? Who cares? It's 2025. We're just putting stuff on Patreon. Check it out. That will be this year, 2025. Anyway, thank you for listening. Join us next time. We'll get to some Teen Titans. Peace out.
Yeah. Booyah.
Yeah, booyah.